Nicole Newnham and Jim Lebrecht, who just won the Best Documentary for Crip Camp. What a great film you guys made. I'm so happy that you got this award. I'm sure you are too. And your film showed that, how something like a summer camp experience in which everyone, found each other, how it really galvanized a movement. It's so powerful. It has a lot to say about where we are today with other movements as well. I guess I want to know a little bit about, how you feel about this coming out at the time that it is, and what you wanted to make sure that people got from it.
Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. This has been an amazing time for everyone throughout the world for the last, since the pandemic began. But I think that I hope that it made all of us think about each other and how precious life is. And I think that the message that we wanted to convey with our film was to reframe what disability meant to people with and without, but more on a universal message, how we regard people that are different from ourselves. And I hope that if people see that message, that we need to throw away the stereotypes and the prejudice, and we have to see deep within people, that we're going to find beauty and joy and art and surprise.
I agree with Jim. I also think that, our film came out in a summer and a year of movements, powerful grassroots movements, for racial justice, for climate justice, for disability justice. And I think that we hoped that the film, by telling the story of how, small groups of people coming together and experiencing liberation and finding community and learning how to be in community with each other, listen to each other, support each other, that how that can actually, even if it takes decades sometimes, result in really powerful change, that would inspire people to keep fighting and keep believing that change is possible.
And to keep fighting together. I think that's a really strong message in the film too, is the intersectionality of all of our movements and how powerful we are together. And I think especially now, we hope that resonates. Change is possible when we work together.
Nicole, having the Obamas in your corner for this doc, that's got to be amazing. I don't know, how did that first come about? And did you think you were being pranked or something when you were interested?
Well, no, because we were going after them. I mean, our brilliant executive producer Howard Gertler read about Higher Ground, the Obama's production company with Netflix, and he called us up that very day and said, we have to try to find some way to get Crip Camp to Higher Ground, because Judy Heumann, who's featured in our film, worked for the Obama State Department. And we felt like there was such resonance with the values that they hold dear, a belief in grassroots organizing and its capacity to make change, a belief in the power of young people, and a belief in the power of untold stories from marginalized communities. And so we were able to reach Priya Swaminathan, who had just been hired to run Higher Ground. And we said, please look at this fundraising trailer. And she said, no, it's too early. And then she called back a couple of weeks later and said, I don't know what you guys have done, but I cannot stop watching this thing. And my bosses feel the same way. So we had an incredible partnership with Priya, Tonya Davis at Higher Ground, and President Obama and Mrs. Obama actually watched our film multiple times, gave feedback. It was a true partnership, and they came in very early on. So we really did make this film with them.
When I read that 1 in 4 people are disabled, and that if the community that is disabled was a group, that it would be the largest minority group in our country. And yet we see so little representation in the media, and it just seems to be, I don't know, something like 2% or something on screens. Do you feel that, your film has changed our perception or changed the larger perception, and is going to make people more aware of the importance of inclusion and representation?
I think that the film that Nicole and Sarah made, proves that authentic stories are very, very are things that people really, really want to see, but that it really took people with disabilities and working on the film to really really represent us in a light that we've really rarely ever been seen in. I think the figure about representation on screen is closer to 1%. And of those actors, so many of them are not even disabled. But indeed, we are 1 in 4. And it's it's all of our hope that we've helped to break something open, because people have been working on this for years. And that if our industry would apply the same kind of diversity and inclusion efforts that they've seen that has been so successful with other marginalized groups, there will be stories and people working with you that are going to bring in fresh ideas. And I have to say that people have to get beyond their prejudice or their stereotypes and truly see us for who we are. And then the magic is going to happen.
I want to ask both of you, or all of you, what it's been like going through this uniquely virtual awards season.
I think we all feel a huge amount of sadness that we're not able mostly to get to hang out with our fellow nominees, who we admire so much, and who are such amazing people. And we're so sad not to have been able to be a part of this sort of like, real life experience of the Independent Spirit Awards, which is, something that is actually been, so inspiring to us, I think, as filmmakers. I mean, just to have people championing the work that we do specifically is so meaningful. So to be here is extraordinary. But I think we've also found that, especially for people with disabilities, the virtual world has allowed us to engage with people who might not come to film festivals or events, to reach audiences that otherwise wouldn't be reached, and to find ways to do that with accessibility and inclusion. And that's been really meaningful.
Yeah, we haven't had to worry about the number of wheelchair seats in the theater for virtual screenings. So that, we were really fortunate when we were at Sundance. We had a large entourage of folks, and that Sundance helped pull some seats out of the Eccles Theater so we could all sit together like every other group. So, it's been a positive in a lot of respects.
Yeah, no, that is certainly, it's allowed so many more people to see it. I was there at that Eccles screening, and I remember just being so moved by your film. So congratulations, Jim Lebrecht, Nicole Newnham. Best documentary, Crip Camp.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.